Desert Storm became the proving grounds for the concept of a multi-role fighter. The most well-known of this was the A-18 Hornet, operated by the US Navy, Marine Corps and Canadian Air Force. Shooting down two Mig-21s without breaking formation and proceeding to drop bombs on a target, this is the story of the US Navy's Hornet in Desert Storm. The F-18 Hornet was a multi-role aircraft developed by McDonnell Douglas, featuring high angle of attack capabilities, excellent low-speed control, beefy carrier gear and a sophisticated set of avionics. The Hornets in the Gulf would be the A and C variants. A simplified explanation without getting bogged down on all the specific blocks and other stuff, the C had basically updated avionics and a better cockpit with improved screens and less analog dials. The 106 Navy Hornets deployed to the Gulf got to prove the platform in combat, flying 4,551 sorties with only 3 losses. One was lost on the 24th of January to an engine fire over the Persian Gulf, the pilot ejecting and getting rescued by USS Wisconsin. The second was lost in combat on the 5th of February 1991, and the third was shot down by a Mig. Hornets would be based either in the Persian Gulf, aboard USS Midway, Theodore Roosevelt and America, as part of Task Force Zulu, or in the Red Sea with USS Saratoga and the Independence. Let's head to the Gulf. On the 2nd of August 1990, Hussein invaded Kuwait, taking the country in a matter of days. The US organised a coalition force, which would use force if needed to retake Kuwait if Saddam Hussein didn't pull out by the 17th of January. The deadline came and Desert Storm would kick off. On the morning of the 17th of January 1991, Hornets from Saratoga would take off in pitch black. Their target was H3 airfield in Iraq. The first flight of 4 Hornets would be escorted by US Air Force F-15s and Navy F-14 Tomcats lingering outside the Missile Engagement Zone, or MEZ. Above the flight would be an E-2 Hawkeye AWACS platform. A pair of Iraqi Migs had been vectored to engage the Hornets, however the escorting F-15s managed to get them both, shooting them down. Using a bullseye allocated as a satellite airbase of H3 ensures that the flight flies over H3 at the right angle. Along the way, the E-2 finds a target heading straight for them, saying to the Hornets, nose on 15 to 30 miles. The flight are currently sitting at 30,000 feet and are trying to go as fast as they can without using afterburner. Carrying 3 1,000-pound bombs and 2 AIM-9Ms and AIM-7F Sparrows, the Hornets are told by the E-2 to look down. Lieutenant Commander Mark Fox and his wingman switch to air-to-air mode at a flick of a switch in their F-18C. The pair are now pushing Mach 1.3 with the Migs at Mach 0.9. This here is Fox's point of view. He turns on the AIM-9 Seeker, telling it to look where the radar says the Migs are using the lock acquisition mode, no tone. He tries twice more before the growl of the AIM-9 comes through his helmet, knocking the Mig-21 from 9 miles away. He calls Fox 2. He isn't sure the AIM-9 will hit, so he fires an AIM-7 just to be sure. Approaching H3, their radars picked up several low-flying targets. In the Iran-Iraq war, the Iraqis had flown aircraft low and slow to act as bait for the Iranians, and if they took the bait, they would be followed and shot down by another Iran aircraft. Luckily, none of the Hornets took the bait. The group of 4 then proceeded to drop their load of 3,000-pound bombs on H3. Another flight of aircraft from the Saratoga would have a much more different outcome. This time, a Hornet would be downed. This flight's goal was the suppression of enemy air defences or SEAD. This is because many ADM-141 TAL drones have been launched over Baghdad to bait the Iraqis into turning on their radars and shooting at them using surface-to-air missiles. In doing so, they'll be targeted by AGM-88 harms fired from FA-18s and Air Force F-4G Wild Weasels. This tactic was named Pubar's Party, after the man who came up with it, Brigadier General Larry Pubar Henry. The flight of Hornets are flying over Iraq in a wide wall formation. This is when we meet Captain Scott Spiker. Scrambling to intercept them is an Iraqi Mig-25 PD Foxbat coming out of Tammuz airbase, piloted by Lieutenant Zuhair Dawood. He turns south, heading straight for the task group. He is then locked onto by a Hornet piloted by Michael Anderson, and notches the lock, breaking it. He also goes out of the detection range of one of the supporting AWACS aircraft, meaning the Hornets may not be granted to fire. Waiting for confirmation from the AWACS, Anderson starts turning with Dawood's Foxbat. Dawood disengages afterburner and disappears. Iraqi ground control tell Dawood to return to the original intercept path he took. He started heating up his radar and locked onto Spiker's Hornet. He is unaware that he's being locked as his RWR is not functioning. An R40D Acrid is heading straight for his aircraft, whilst he is still setting up the AGM-88. His body was found by tribesmen, a nomadic tribe inhabiting the Gulf. His remains were found in 2009, and his aircraft remains being found in 1993. After the first night, standard missions would either be interdiction sorties, supporting A6 intruders, suppression of enemy air defences using the AGM-88 HARM, or preparing the Kuwaiti battlefield for coalition troops. Another important moment for the Hornets in the Gulf was what became known as the Bubiyan Blowout. Bubiyan Island was near Qasr naval base in Kuwait, and Saddam Hussein feared that his navy may be sunk in port, decided to send his ships to Iran. However, numerous coalition assets were waiting to take easy pickings. Royal Navy Lynxes scored 14 kills in 13 hours on Iraqi ships, whilst Hornets and A6 intruders would use cluster bombs. Another interesting piece of ordnance that Hornets were carrying around in the Gulf were the AGM-62 Walleyes, both the Walleye 1 and 2. First being used in 1967 in the Vietnam War by A4s, the Walleye was an electro-optic guided bomb. The Walleye 1 was around a third of size of the Walleye 2. The pilot could clearly see the view from the bomb as there was a camera in it, and it was able to guide the bomb straight to the target with immense precision. An F-18A destroyed a T-shaped building at Qasr naval base with a Walleye 2, whilst another F-18A dropped a Walleye 1 on an Iraqi Super Falcon helicopter armed with Exocet anti-ship missiles. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please like, make sure you've subscribed, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.